SBG Ireland's head coach himself, John Kavanaugh, welcome to the Breakdown Studios.
Thanks for having me.
We've got to get to the important stuff first. It's a busy night in Dublin. Have you been doing your sprints? Because there's a lot of work between the locker room and octagon side.
Yeah, well, I've done a lot more than 3 fights in one night, but I did want to get one of those kind of little mini Segway things so I could just lean and go to the octagon. But
we haven't seen that.
I don't know, health and safety might stop it.
Maybe so, maybe so. Now, we've known each other a little while now, and I think around the time that Conor got signed to the UFC, you were telling me about another hopeful you had in the gym, a guy called Paddy Holohan. How good is this kid?
Yeah, like Conor, Paddy's one of those guys you just want to be around. You know, he just has that charisma about him, and he's so funny. But my forte in martial arts was always I enjoyed the submission wrestling, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and right from the beginning, Paddy was my jiu-jitsu guy. Paddy was going in and submitting people all over the place, and that was my personal little favourite area.
Indulging your passion.
Something like that, yeah. He was getting to do what I didn't really get to do, so it was nice to see it.
How do you monitor his progress from this point on? Because obviously now he's jumped up the card, he's opening the main card now, and his opponents are going to start to get tougher and tougher. What do you as a coach start to look to add to his game? What
we really want to achieve is that you could beat your former self. So, like the Paddy that had that great fight in last UFC Dublin, I would like to think he'd struggle to do even 2 rounds with the current Paddy.
Right.
You know, I think a lot of aspects of his game have really improved since then. And I think that's about as much as you can do as a fighter, is make sure that every quarter you can look back on your training notes or you can look back on footage and see the areas that you're plugging those holes and trying to achieve the impossible and become the perfect fighter.
So Paddy's fighting Louis Smolka. He's a guy that you've probably seen before. He fought Neil Siri, who I know that you're very familiar with. So what do you make of this guy?
As Paddy has said, I think Smolka is sort of like Paddy, but maybe 4 or 5 years ago. He's a tough kid, he's wild. They actually have a physically quite similar look about them as well. I'm confident.
Another stalwart of the SBG Ireland gym is Cathal Pendred. He's fighting Tom Breeze, this young kid who's looked superb of late.
Yeah, he has, and I think he's an excellent fighter. He has finishes on the feet, he has finishes on the ground. He's like all of these kind of young fighters coming through now. All of them are solid everywhere. You know, just back in the day, you could look at somebody and say, "Oh, just avoid the stand-up with this guy," or "Oh, just avoid the ground with this guy." Now people are good everywhere, and the fact he's a southpaw as well, you know, kind of adds to the interesting side of the puzzle. So it'll be. I think it's a big test for Tom as well. You know, Carla's kind of experience of these big shows. I don't think Tom's experienced that yet, so it'll be interesting to see how he handles that type of pressure.
Tom Breeze is quite a big welterweight as well. You know, 6'3", he's quite rangy as well. Is that something that you're gonna have to look to counteract, or is that something that you feel Carl's got quite a lot of experience with already?
Yeah, like he kind of went through a period of fighting like small, compact wrestlers, and with Carl's style, that's actually kind of more difficult to deal with than some of the big limbs that he can get underneath and utilize his grappling skills. So I think these kind of bigger guys maybe suit Carl better. For this fight, actually, Carl has been doing a lot of boxing training in a boxing gym. We'll see some new skills, I think.
So this is going to be a very special night for Ash Daly. She was unfortunately in the Ultimate Fighter house when the UFC rolled into Dublin last time around, but now she gets her chance to perform in front of her home fans.
Yeah.
She must be so excited.
You know, like there's a lot of big fights coming up for all my guys in the gym. But I have to say, of pretty much of all the fights I have coming up, and even most of the fights I've ever done, I'm most excited to see what Ash is doing in this fight for a number of reasons. Like, one, she's literally walking around the gym growling at people now. Like, I swear I heard it's like, and I looked behind and Ash was like on the bag, and she's in such a good place. It's not a secret to say that if you look at Ash's record, there was a period of a couple of losses in a row. You know, when she joined the gym, her nickname is Ash the Bash. She actually got that from fighting guys in school. She was in a mixed school and she used to fight boys that were bullying people, and she would fly across the table at them. So she was Ash the Bash before she even did martial arts. I'm very excited to see this new version, this kind of return. We're calling it like a return to Ash the Bash, but with modern day skills. So that to me is an exciting combination.
The King of Dublin is back. UFC interim champion
I'm here, of course I'm here.
The other King of Dublin, of course. Conor McGregor back in the gym. What's the reaction been like, and how's that had a knock-on effect with all of the fighters?
You know, it's kind of like I seen Conor saying this the other day when he first came back. He'd been traveling for so long, and he's this persona and he gets brought everywhere. And then he walked back in the gym and everyone's just, what's up, Conor? You know, and right on the mat. And I was like, you're 10 minutes late, let's go, let's go. And he loved it. He was like, oh, it's kind of good to be back to normality, like, you know. Of course, there's the other side where he's this megastar, I guess, at this stage within the sport. But when he's in the gym, he's one of the lads and get on the mat and let's get going, like, you know, so.
Thank you so much. Best of luck to all of your fighters for Fight Night Dublin. It's going to be an amazing event.
Thank you very much.
So none of us can wait for October 24th to roll around, so we're going to leave you with this. A quick look at the rest of the talent on the card.
Coming live from the Sun O2 Arena in Dublin, Ireland!
We are underway.